Hello and welcome to Dawn Chorus Writes, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction and audio fiction. This is part 2 of Coffee Break, which is part of If I Could Tell Her series, and overall this is part 7. So I hope you're enjoying it so far. All the other parts are linked down below. Massive shout out to Tally for her beautiful, stunning artwork that I commissioned for this two-part one shot. So all her information is down below. Make sure you go and send her some love. Send me some love by smashing that like button. It really does help with the algorithm. Make sure you comment down below what you think of it and what will come next in the series, and make sure you subscribe because we've just hit 2.5 thousand subscribers and it's amazing. Thank you for all the love and support. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that and enjoy. Part 7. Adrien, Cat Noir's POV. At the start, everything was going to plan. Polly Mouse shrank down to 20 little mice and leapt through the portal. She entered into the offices below and scattered through the air unit until she reached the floor of Gabriel Egress. But what she described didn't make sense. I mean, the place is bare. There are a few scattered desks and randomly stacked chairs in a few of the rooms, but what I can't tell, no one has worked here for a while. Are you sure this is the right floor? Said Polly Mouse in their earpieces. Ladybug glanced over at him, and he confirmed with a nod. It was the right location. I'm sure, Polly Mouse. There must be some sign or clue to what has happened and where Viperion is. What about the security? There doesn't seem to be one. What? This was his father, the man all about control and security? Why would this place be any different? But that doesn't add up. Why would Shadow Moth have an office but not have... Cat paced on the spot. A surge of frustration bubbled up from the depths of his guts, and the need to hit something or want to fight became too strong. No. Calm. Breathe. Now was not the time. Focus on task. I have sent a pin of a safe room to Pegasus, so you can all transport into it. Polly Mouse added. Pegasus opened his horseshoe and smiled before whipping his hand in a circle. Rena and Carapace offered to step through first. That way she can create a mirage against any threat, whilst Carapace shielded her. They were followed by Purple Tigress, Vesperia, and lastly Ladybug and Cat. Stay on your guard, everyone. Spread out into your teams of 2. Meet back here. Any hint of a sign, let us know, Ladybug ordered. Polly Mouse was right. The space had a strange, dark feeling to it, much like the mansion had. Now he knew why. But this was different to the emotional coldness. This place lacked purpose, which didn't seem right. He was sure he had visited these offices before, maybe a year ago, but still, it had been filled with bustling people darting back and forth on tasks. Phones ringing, desks for assistance, businessmen in suits. None of what he was seeing blended with the image inside his head. And yet, this was the place. So how did it become empty? With stacked desks in the corner, chairs with plastic covers still on, wires sticking out of the wall. This place had the look as if they'd never finished moving into, not the hurry to move out. However, if he looked closely, there were clues. A few scattered takeaway coffee cups that hadn't got the layers of dust on them compared to the others. Snack wrappers that still had a sweetness to them. Someone had definitely been here recently, but whether that was to capture Viperion was a different matter. Ladybug held her yo-yo out in her hand, ready to start swinging it, as Cat beside her held his baton like a sword, ready to strike. But after each room that was either empty or a few scattered pieces of random items, he felt the frustration bubble back up again. This doesn't make sense, milady. I'm sure this is the place, and yet
None of it seems like it is. Why would he turn a bustling office of an expensive floor in one of these towers into this?
He swung the baton in the air, imagining someone on the other side of it. Ladybug paused in step, recalculating the scenario in her head, her hands dancing through the air. This is the only place he would take Viperion, or get someone else to. It's logical, and yet, where is he? I mean, I could Lucky Charm it. I know it's not a fight, a battle. It's not for self-gain either. Her frantic hands were stopped by Kitty's as he cupped them together, pulling her fixed stare from a random coffee cup on the ground and landing them onto his eyes. He took in a deep breath and watched as she mirrored his actions. "You have got this, milady." He nodded his head. She copied. "And I think using your Lucky Charm is fine in these circumstances. Try it and see what we get." He darted his eyes to the side, making sure none of their teammates were around before gently caressing her cheek. "We will find Luca." He held her eyes, telling her he knew this was more personal than just a teammate, and yet there was no conflict or jealousy, only support. "The whole team is behind you. I'm here. This isn't just on you." It took every strength he had not to kiss her, to curl his arms around her and never let go. And the look Marinette was giving back to him, seeing the same need in her eyes, did not make it easier. No, professional Cat Noir, not Adrien. He let out a long laboured sigh and dropped his hands from her soft cheek. Ladybug threw her yo-yo into the air and called out, "Lucky Charm!" filling the roof space with tiny bugs before transforming it into a glass? A drinking glass. It dropped into her outstretched hands. Her face held the same amount of confusion as she scanned the room for a sign. "A drinking glass? Do not make a joke or a jest. Resist the urge." "Did I hear Lucky Charm? Any help?" Rena called through the doorway before entering with Carapace. "A drinking glass? What, you haven't had your allotted water intake for the day?" She smirked and Ladybug sniggered. "Oh, that was gonna be my line," Cat grumbled inside his head. "But really, what good is a glass?" said Carapace. "Ladybug, he isn't here, and we are wasting time, whilst Viperion is who knows where. Do you have another plan?" Purple Tigress spat, trying to hide the panic that was starting to show in her voice. "Well, no, but he has to be here." Cat wanted to reach out to his lady to give her strength as her confidence dropped. "That's not good enough, Ladybug. You may not care as much, being just a teammate to you, but to me, she cares. We all do, Tigress. We will find him. Together," Vesperia added, placing her hand on Purple Tigress's shoulder. Cat could feel his ears twitch as he picked up a muffled sound. It was some sort of banging. His feet allowed his cat ears to guide him out of the room they were in, across the hallway and into another office space. He paused, finding himself holding his breath, willing the sound to repeat. A faint, strained voice, followed by a few bangs, caused his ears to rotate, attempting to lock in the location. "Cat, what are you—" He held his hand up to Ladybug to stop, including the other shuffling footsteps. There it was again, a little stronger this time. Cat looked at the walls. There was nothing special on them, no lines, no markings, nothing on the floor. He dashed out of the room and into the surrounding space. The sound wasn't coming from there. No, it was definitely coming from the previous room, but where? "Dude, seriously, have you lost it? You're acting strange." "Cat, can you hear something?" LB crept closer to him, as if she would startle him. "Yeah, I think I am." He needed someone else to hear it, to help him hone in on the location. He studied each member of the team before landing on Tigress. Big cat ears? "Tigress,
Stand next to me and listen. Everyone else, silence.
Cat, what am I meant to hear?
Just listen and tell me.
He held his hand out to the group and then fixed his focus on the ground, standing in the center of the room.
Come on. If this is Luca and not a random ghost, or simply he has gone insane, make some noise.
There it was, the strained voice. He looked at Tigress, watching her expression. I hear a voice. Calling for help? It's Viperian. She clasped a hand over her mouth. The group behind made surprised noises, but Cat held his hand back up again.
Can you hear where? For me, the sound is muffled around. I can't seem to...
The walls, she said through parted fingers.
That makes sense.
Cat's voice filtered off as he imagined all the hidden rooms his father had in the mansion. Like the lift. Like the butterfly room. Ladybug was now standing next to him, looking at him as if reading his thoughts. Pegasus was drifting his hands along the walls as Rena and Carapace stepped closer to the pair. Viperian is in the walls? Well, yes and no. We think there is a hidden room behind the walls, like we discovered at the mansion. Ladybug rolled the drinking glass in her hands. Suddenly, it was as if a light had clicked on inside his head.
May I, milady?
He placed his hand over the glass. With his hearing and the glass against the wall, maybe that was the look they needed. She replied with a smile. He started on the opposite side of Pegasus, tapping the wall, then sliding the glass along with his cat ear pressed to it. He zoned the rest of the room out. His emotions, his anger at his father, thinking that it was okay to trap a person like this. No, listen for the sounds. He was reaching the end of the wall when the noise became louder. He moved his head backwards. Nothing. But pressed to the glass, he could hear a clear, strained voice. Cat waved Pegasus over. If anyone can get Luca out, it would be Max.
Here! There must be some sort of hidden panel.
The rest of the team silently crowded around as he took a step back, allowing Pegasus access. What could you hear? Is he alone or is someone with him? Ladybug whispered.
Not much. Just a voice making noises. But my guess, he's alone. Otherwise, why would they let him alert us?
It could be a trap, Rena added in. Polymouse, did you discover anything in the air ducts? Back to being fully grown again, she shook her head in a no towards Ladybug. Pegasus pressed on a power socket, which clicked open to reveal a fingerprint keypad hidden behind it. I could try to hack into it, but it would take too long. What with Cat confirming and now finding this, that is enough evidence. Pegasus, use Voyage, but everyone else get ready. Ladybug ordered whilst Cat stood slightly in front of her, ready to protect his love against no matter who it might be concealed in there. Ready? Pegasus stood in front of the wall. Voyage! He whipped his hands in a circle. Cat stared at the dark room. The only light source was the one from theirs, highlighting a tied and gagged Viperian to a chair in the center, who had a look of relief in his eyes. But he was alone. Purple Tigress stepped through first, followed by Vesperia, instantly working on the knots and pulling down his gag.
I'm glad to see all of you. Water?
Viperian struggled to speak. The team looked from one to the other. None of them had what they needed. Are you alone? Said LB. He nodded. We need to leave. In case this has triggered something. There are monitors in here, which means cameras and sensors. Pegasus said, studying the walls inside what looked closer to a safe room compared to the other hidden rooms they had seen.
You don't have to tell me twice,
Carapace added. This might sound crazy, but I could do with a coffee, and I think Viperian could do with water or tea. You want to go for a coffee?
Ladybug stared at Rena and then at Cat. Why not? This day couldn't get any more strange, weird, or plain surreal. I know a place, it's quiet, and the owner will leave us to it. There we can talk safely.
Wait, you think it's best for us all to go take Viperian for a coffee? Ladybug looked cute when she looked baffled at the situation. She showed her Marinette side more. Oh, how had he not seen? No, this was a good idea. It's late. What coffee place will be open now?
Like I said, trust me. Cat placed his hand on her shoulder and saw a softness in her eyes.
We need to leave here now, no matter what we are doing, Max added with a sound of urgency.
And that's how some of the team had ended up drinking cups of tea and coffee in a closed-up coffee shop at 10 p.m., looking exhausted and drained emotionally as well as physically. The low light from the scattered lamps around the quaint coffee shop made his foggy mind want to shut down altogether. Thankfully, he had discovered this small gem in Paris as Adrien and then used it as Cat, relieved that the owner, Henry, was happy to be discreet. Cat picked at the flaky pastry, pulling the top off the stale croissant. It wasn't a patch on Tom's. But the coffee felt good, sparking a tiny bit of life back into his mind and warming up his body. Or was that down to Ladybug, resting her head against his shoulder, too tired to care what the rest of the team thought of the sudden closeness, wanting so much to wrap his arm around her?
So, let me get this right. Rena stared into a mug of chai tea. Someone that wasn't Mayura was wearing the Peacock Miraculous, called themselves Blue Pond. Does that mean we were talking to them instead of Shadow Moth through Viperian? But what they said? How much does this person know?
Yeah, they were talking into a charm. I couldn't see what, and I couldn't hear what you said back, more like overhearing a phone call, said Viperian, swirling the cup in his hands.
Ladybug sighed, straightened herself back up and took a sip of her tea. That doesn't make sense. I removed the two Miraculous off Shadow Moth once we beat him. I have them in my yo-yo.
All I know is that at some point you must have fought the Viperian. They released it, but sounded happy about it, and then left me in there. But before leaving, said it wasn't over. But it must be. You got Shadow Moth. Gabriel aggress.
Viperian shook his head in disbelief, darting a quick glance at Cat, and then to Ladybug, followed by the rest of the group. Was there enough time for whoever it was to get it back to Shadow Moth? Said Vesperia, who had been a pile of golden dust at the time.
No, the creature disappeared, the lights went out, the team disappeared, and then my arch nemesis, causing a look from Ladybug, suddenly appeared and we had a sword fight in the dark whilst my lady came up with a plan. I don't see how.
Then how is it possible? Declared Rena. It's not. I'm telling you, I have both. Ladybug pulled her yo-yo from around her waist and opened to reveal the light. First, she pulled out the Peacock Miraculous, placed it on the table. The blues and purples shimmered in the low light, but nothing happened. No Dusu. Everyone started to shift in their seats. Quickly, Ladybug pulled out the Butterfly Miraculous, and instantly, Nuru appeared. Where is Dusu? A hint of panic in Ladybug's voice. She's not here, Guardian. It was Master's plan to trick you, and prevent you from getting both back if one should fail. And I fell for it? He planted a fake, and I fell for it? And now...
someone we don't know is somewhere around Paris with the peacock Miraculous? It's not over.
Cat felt his lady shake under his grip, unable to process what it could all mean. Thank you for listening to part 2 of Coffee Break. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you stay tuned for the next one shot, One Day, which will follow after this one. Before then, officially season 2 begins. Well, it kind of already has begun, but like properly. So make sure you smash that like button. Comment down below what you think of it and what will happen next. And make sure you subscribe so you do not miss out on any of these parts and all the series to come and other one-shots and other series that are happening at the moment. And I just want to say a massive thank you to 2.5 of you who already have subscribed. It means the world to me. It's amazing. Yeah, it's wow. So thank you very much, and I hope you are all good, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.